Memes are attempts at humor, a medium where sometimes broad topics are oversimplified into catchy mind fluff. One might be more familiar with the term soundbite culture. Memes, the new wave of soundbite culture, come in a variety of flavors to satiate the desires of a particular demographic. The ones that make us angry, or the ones that we perceive as effective fodder against individuals we don't like, often catch on far more quickly than, say, a lolcat. If an individual knows this, then they also know that they can get their idea or agenda out there more quickly by choosing the right method. Effectively, it gets forced. A fairly recent one that's caught on with child anarchist pseudo-intellectuals is the use of triggering to get a rise out of the individual that person is attempting to use pedestrian and immature antics against. It's about like what I'm doing now, but a million times more boring and a lot less fun to consume. Regardless, they do this. Now, I try to be a realist and assume a normal distribution of individuals in which the majority of them are unassuming bystanders. They simply see a way to act in accordance with their role models. However, ignorance is never a shield against perpetuating harmful behavior. So, why is triggering a poor way of expressing what otherwise could be an eloquent dissent of opinion with citations and facts abound? Triggers are actually very real symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. They may be sights, sounds, smells, or even feelings that once experienced by that individual take them back to a vivid replay of that original trauma. There are a number of ways an individual can experience triggers or their effects. For example, a smell could lead to just a quick recap of the original trauma and result in physical signs of distress like increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, and pupil dilation. No matter how it expresses itself in an individual, it is not a pleasant experience to deal with. The mechanism behind development of PTSD is poorly understood right now. However, we do believe that the brain does not distinguish between types of trauma. At least be informed if you're going to use stigma or prejudice against individuals you despise for contrived reasons. Because that way I can tell you that you are a narcissistic individual that nobody would actually want to be around. You have no morals, no ethics, and you don't really care about anybody other than yourself and your feelings. So, why should anybody else care about you? How angry or mad would you be if I simply threw up a Dark Souls 3 spoiler, or another spoiler to a movie perhaps, without using any kind of warning? Would that not trigger a response? Can you imagine a world where there are no content warnings on games or movies? Imagine that you are with somebody at the latest gore film, and there are a group of 5-year-olds in there. How would your movie experience be then? How would you feel? What about warnings literally everywhere else, such as on packages containing allergens? Social Darwinism was a pseudoscientific support for the eugenics movement. We have since decided that it's pretty unethical to leave individuals behind. If you still believe in that, you're free to move to whatever little utopian island under the sea you want. While these aren't nearly the same as having PTSD, it's still something that you can relate to. They still elicit responses. They still make you feel a certain way. that you don't necessarily want to feel. Individuals that are set off by things on the internet know how to navigate in a way that allows them to have a certain level of security and comfort. Stigmatizing triggers simply breeds more ignorance, and it makes it harder for individuals existing in reality to navigate their life. Perhaps at some point a higher collective maturity on this planet will sprout, so we can move on to ever greater problems that are facing this planet. We have a long way to go if we ever want to build a Dyson sphere. The majority of people that are using memes in this way won't even watch longer than 2 minutes, because that's what meme culture does. That's what soundbite culture does. If things aren't below a few minutes, then the people lose their interest. I appreciate you, and I thank you so much for watching. If you have a topic that you'd like for me to discuss, feel free to send it my way. Know that you are incredible, and I hope that you stay safe. And until next time, witchlings, bye!